Hi, Gopal. Happy Thursday morning to you and welcome back.
Good morning, Reed, and good morning, your audience.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Uh, I'm doing great, Reed. I just wanted to make sure there is no echo for anyway. There are no echoes for.
Shouldn't be. I mean, if you have the video open, you're going to hear a delayed playback of yourself, but otherwise, I have no echo from you on my end.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning.
Excellent. Yeah, and confirming from the audience, no echo as well. So, but yeah, I think this is the fourth or fifth time that I think I've had you back. Somewhere in there, yeah. Pretty close. Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty close to it, I would
Yes.
think.
Sorry. So I was hearing the echo. Sorry. So this is like maybe the fifth or sixth time we have typically launched most of our products with your stream, and I wanted to continue the tradition, from our Power BI visuals, and I'm pretty excited to share this transition from the Power BI visuals to the Fabric workload.
Yeah. You guys have certainly evolved over the years. It's started out with just some custom visuals in Power BI, and your platform is quite expanded as you've expanded the XFIS brand, rebranded into Lumel, created InfoRiver, and then even expanded after there. So I feel like it's every 6 months or so. There's been some really exciting updates that you guys have done in the kind of the enterprise integrations with the Microsoft market for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We have closely aligned with Microsoft, and we are able to work quite a bit with a lot of our large enterprise customers and listen to them. And as the markets have evolved from kind of a BI tool to a data platform today, which I will be talking about, we have been able to, because of our customer base, able to see the trend much earlier and then able to adapt to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you've often kind of definitely been at the forefront of some of this stuff. So it's been interesting to see it from an outside perspective and just kind of watch the market evolve. Um, I think what we can do is to get started a little bit for people not maybe familiar with you yet, if you want to give a brief introduction of yourself, and then we can kind of segue into the topic of the day today.
Got it. Okay. So I think I'm going to start off by trying to show a little presentation of
Yeah.
Lumel, who we are. Hope everybody can see this, Read. You can see the slides
Yep.
clearly, right? Yeah. So Lumel has focused on Power BI and now Fabric, and we are one of the largest Power BI and Microsoft ISV partner. Our vision is to basically, complete Power BI and Fabric and bring the capabilities like enterprise planning. And now I will be talking today about the data apps or the PowerTable. And, we have taken all of our assets on the Power BI visuals. And now I will be teasing you with the modern BI offering. Our primary goal is how do we help customers consolidate in Microsoft Fabric? So you could retire a whole slew of legacy on-prem software or legacy SaaS software. And that's our principal vision, provide a modern data app for an integrated data app for your enterprise performance use cases, your data apps use cases. And we are very, very fortunate to serve some of the largest companies in the world. And we have more than 3,000 paid customers, most of them acquired through the Power BI visuals market. And now you can see by listening to our customers, some of the largest ones across multiple industries, we are able to really perfect our products. And you are going to see those benefits today, as I will be talking a whole lot about Fabric workloads. And Microsoft obviously recognized this, that we have the size and scale. So we are over 300 full-time employees with a very, very large engineering team. And that's one of the reasons Microsoft recognized us as strategic ISV for Microsoft Fabric. Obviously, you all know the InfoRiver matrix. Microsoft recognized way back in 2022 as a no-code partner innovation. We brought a world-class matrix for your reporting use cases and ad hoc analysis use cases. And then following the same tradition, Microsoft kept in close partnership. They decided to collaborate with us to bring planning, that we should bring planning on top of Microsoft Fabric. I will be touching a little bit on of that, and then hopefully, if time permits, I'll give you a sneak preview of how the whole EPM planning looks at the end. But today, I wanted to give you all the context of what is really happening in the market. I know there is a whole lot of buzz about AI, AI, AI. Everybody wants to do AI, but we got to time out a little bit, because customers are realizing that you got to really have AI ready data, which means your data has to be in a unified data platform. So you will see a lot of projects in the next 2 to 3 years to make the data AI ready. Put it all in one data platform. You're going to see a lot of investments in that. And Microsoft, that's one of the reasons they decided to bring Microsoft Fabric to the market to help customers consolidate their data assets, all their data needs into Microsoft Fabric. Because this is basically where Microsoft also sees the market is customers will first invest in the data platform. Our vision, this is kind of our vision statement, is that the market has consolidated on Power BI semantic models. It doesn't matter whether you are using Databricks, whether you are using Snowflake, or whether you are using BigQuery, or even Amazon Redshift. You have created a Power BI semantic model. That's why Power BI is the most dominant BI tool in the market. But our vision is to bring planning on top of those semantic models. Imagine you have already done your ETL, the replication of the data, and you have your actuals reporting. What if I gave you the capability to add budgets, forecast scenario, and save it back to your data platform of choice with your investments in Power BI semantic model? We extended that concept and to data apps, because planning is more of an enterprise performance management use cases. What about your master data, your reference data, your flat tables, your ability to create table apps? A good example of a table apps is, we had Microsoft Excel. There is a reason why Microsoft Access existed. What happened to Microsoft Access? It still gets used. I think if I have to make a guess, it's one of the top 10 used products, because it gives you what is called as table apps, basically. And obviously, some of you have transitioned to Airtable and SmartSheet, or maybe your legacy SharePoint list. So PowerTable is designed to basically give you those capabilities, but most importantly, save it back, those data, your transaction data, your dimension data, your pricing list, all of that back to your data platform. And our vision is the Lumel BI will be able to provide live interactive reporting on top of the data that you are creating. Okay, that's kind of our vision. If all the data is in your data platform, guess what? You are AI ready, so that your AI agents can give you the outcome that you are looking for. How is all of this is going to work? Okay, that's where I was going to touch on the Fabric workloads. Microsoft realized that Power BI came early, a good 10 years back. They gave a very, very good software development kit to build add-ons or plugins or the visuals on top of Power BI. But Microsoft decided Power BI is not a data platform. Power BI is a BI tool. So we want to capture the entire share of the data estate, which means we need data factory, we need analytics, we need databases, we need real-time intelligence, what Microsoft calls as workloads.
Yep.
But we will give you Copilot, we will give you OneLake for all the storage, and then we will give you the governance, which is your OneLake security. Now imagine where is planning, where is data apps? So that's where the capabilities that Microsoft doesn't have, they opened it up as a native app workload framework, so that partners and ISVs could bring them into the Fabric ecosystem, and the customers can benefit from an unified experience. So Microsoft is giving all of those capacities, the administration framework as shell. What I like to call Fabric Workloads, it's the kind of the native app framework, which is the future for all the partners and the ISV. So the market, Microsoft itself is transitioning from the Power BI visuals to the Fabric Workloads. And you are going to see a lot of ISVs here. This is Microsoft's slide. Obviously, Lumel is up at the top. And today, I'm very happy to announce that PowerTable is generally available. I will be talking quite a bit today about PowerTable, but I wanted to kind of give you big ISVs are investing in Fabric workloads. And we want all partners to think about more about Fabric workloads, because there are, I will tell you, it's very, very well done. I'm not saying because they have learned all the lessons from the Power BI SDK, the Power BI App Source Marketplace. They have learned all of those, and Microsoft has addressed quite a bit. So I strongly encourage partners, and please feel free to ask questions on this, because one of the objective is that a lot of partners just don't know that even it exists, because the big ISVs are investing, but not the smaller ones. So I just thought I will do. What we are doing, what Lumel is doing, is taking all of our Power BI visual assets, and we are giving you only 3 items. It's one workload, because one of the complaints about Lumel or InfoRiver is, hey, you guys have bunch of visual, I have to buy them individually by use case. If you want reporting, buy the reporting matrix. If you want visualization, buy the analytics plus. So the customer always felt I have to buy them individually, because that's how the Power BI Visual SDK framework work. But at Fabric workloads, we have one workload called Lumel Enterprise Performance Suite. You can do 3 items, one for planning, one for PowerTable, one for modern BI, or you could buy them as a one EPM suite, and all of them are integrated, which is kind of our vision. I'm sure a lot of you are very intrigued, which is what I'm going to show you today. The equivalent of PowerTable was editable, basically, in Power BI. So one of the things I wanted to tell you, the transition from Power BI Visual to PowerTable is just very, very important for a lot of the customers. The beauty of the workloads compared to the visuals is we are able to expand the use cases, because as editable, we were limited to the Power BI visual memory, the SDK. It felt like somewhat of a not a native experience, like a kind of we are kind of boxed into a kind of an iframe. You could only do limited set of use cases like master data, reference data, dimension management, and other big dependency is you needed a Power BI licenses for every visual to consume it. The overall total cost of ownership was pretty, the partners didn't have a lot of flexibility in the Power BI model. There were benefits. Obviously, you could do it with Power BI Desktop. Obviously, you got the Power BI Mobile. You got the Power BI visual integration, the other core visuals. You can do cross-filtering, drill through. All of those benefits were there, but those benefits simply are not enough, because there are so many other drawbacks with the Power BI visual framework. What we are able to do by adopting to Fabric workload, we are able to expand the number of use cases we are able to do with PowerTable. We are now able to completely provide 100% coverage for all the table apps use cases. Let's say you are using Airtable. Let's say you are using Microsoft Access or Excel, SharePoint list. You can consider migrating them to PowerTable. I will be touching on the benefits. We are working on evolving it to project management and work management use cases. You are probably familiar with SmartSheets and Ricky and Monday and Asana. We are trying to, some of you are familiar with our Gantt. We are going to be integrating our Gantt into PowerTable, but it is an editable Gantt. So you could use it for project planning. And our vision is that this will evolve into a no-code app builder and an agentic app builder, basically, where you go and say, I want to build an app, but it will do. That's kind of our vision and roadmap. I don't want to talk about the ease of use. The main reason, scalability, because you are going to experience all of that when I'm doing a live demo today. The experience is beautiful. It feels native, full screen. There are no limitations. You will be seeing, I'll be opening up some large tables, and I will be doing a live editing, managing everything with approval and everything. And we have lowered the pricing of PowerTable. So the PowerTable is much cheaper than Editable because we think this can actually go viral. So instead of everybody thinks of adding more capability and increasing the prices, we have actually gone the other way for PowerTable because we really, really want to promote PowerTable as a premier data app application in the Fabric ecosystem. Now, what I want to do is I want to quickly explain the architecture. Is that I think I have touched quite a bit in the previous, where our middleware is separated, or the compute layer is separated from the storage. That's one of the reasons we are able to actually also quickly transition, is that we support, if the customer has already chosen, let's say Snowflake or Databricks, or let's say Redshift, we are able to support PowerTable. We added support for Fabric SQL because Microsoft announced Fabric SQL as a kind of a serverless version of Azure SQL, and the Postgres, which are more write optimized. One of the things that we will touch on is it is best to use a write optimized database table because they are more designed for a live writeback. You will see superior performance. But there are times it makes sense to write to that. But principally, we have created a separation between storage and compute. All it is the Power BI experience is kind of your editable, and then the full screen experience is your PowerTable. Because of how we thought through all of this and built it, we are able to make a quick transition from Power BI to the Fabric user experience. I kind of wanted to pause here before I kind of go deep into PowerTable, but I wanted to get an idea, Reed, what do you so far? Do you have any questions or any thoughts?
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit about some of the limitations of having things have to be like, say, a custom visual in Power BI versus kind of decoupling it and bringing it into the Fabric platform. If you were to to list like maybe top 3 benefits of decoupling it from Power BI specifically, letting it use the semantic model, but not needing Power BI as the delivery mechanism for the interface. What are some of the what would be the 3 big takeaways for you for that to explain the benefit of that upgrade or that split?
The main thing is the performance, the scalability, the user experience. Like you get automatic single sign-on. You get a flexible licensing option, the license management, a lot of the things that really frustrated you with the Power BI visual market now magically gone away.
Okay, so as you said, so like the fact that there's almost like a double sign-in you have to do, and then any limitations that just come from the visual container that's built into Power BI as well goes away, because you can now with the work with the app experience like you're building now, is you can essentially build the whole platform. You're not a platform in a platform anymore. You're not nested.
We are correct. We are on par with Power BI. We are on par with real-time intelligence. So we are on par. So technically, we get access to the same set of APIs. The big downside is you need somewhat of what I call is a very good experience in trying to read the XML APIs, the Power BI DAX APIs, the catalog APIs. So you have to do a lot of legwork and orchestrate it. So let's say you don't like a certain Power BI experience, you can actually do it differently completely. So you have, now, whereas in the Power BI visual, you have to really follow the Power BI thing. But here's the good thing. Microsoft also has a Fabric certification guidelines, which means your user experience, let's say some other partner builds it, it's going to adhere to the Fabric UX guidelines and everything. Both the Fabric, Microsoft's own products and the partner, they will all have a similar user experience. So it's not like a learning curve. Oh, Microsoft products will have a separate user experience as partner ISV workloads will have a separate user experience. Does it make sense?
Yep. Yeah, that does. That explains that well. Thank you.
So just kind of to continue, what I will do is I'll just give you a little bit of overview before I jump into the demos. What are some of the key use cases? I think I touched on is that you can build no-code data apps. One of the things is you could connect to semantic model and just build a write-back enabled, live write-back enabled kind of apps. You could retire your legacy tabular apps, but manage your old master data, reference data, but everything integrated stuff. That's the core use cases of PowerTable. Again, I wanted to reiterate, this is the beauty. You are able to connect live and write to your SQL-based destination. You can, let's say you have a Snowflake or a Databricks or a BigQuery or a Redshift. We have customers pretty much on all the four data platforms. And now you can write to Fabric SQL or Fabric Warehouse or Azure SQL or Postgres. One of the things is you got to have a little bit of an understanding of, with an OLTP database, it's more write optimized. You can enforce the primary keys, but whereas your data warehouse platforms like Snowflake or Warehouse, enforcing the primary keys is kind of not designed with it. So you got to really know the pros and cons of it. Sometimes it is advantageous to use a write directly to a OLAP DB. That's one of the reasons. If you notice the news, both Snowflake and Databricks went ahead and did a deal for Postgres write optimized, because Microsoft came with Fabric SQL first, which is write optimized. They felt they are not, they are going to lose out on these transactional data apps market, the native apps market that is fast emerging. So Databricks went and bought Neon, and Snowflake went and bought Crunchy Data. Both are nothing but your Postgres. Postgres is also write optimized. So this gives you a little bit of idea. The industry itself is trying to, Snowflake first came with native apps, then Databricks came up with Lakehouse apps. Databricks is still not as mature, but Fabric Workloads is much, much mature compared to Databricks apps. But you can see they are all trying to fight along where the market is moving and doing. But Microsoft did really come out with Fabric SQL first, which made Snowflake and Databricks move in this market. One of the big differentiator is, okay, I'm doing this in Excel, I'm doing this, why should I really move compared to even Airtable? Everything is built for no code. That's a principal differentiation of our product, built for a business user. You will hardly write any code. It has approvals, workflows, pretty much what a business user, why they would want to move up. In Excel, it will start struggling. I don't think so it supports more than 1 million rows. Now you will see, we will be even editing a billion row table. So the scalability is very, very important. So when a customer hits the performance challenges of Excel, then they look for a table app solution or a work management solution. That's where the Airtable and SmartSheet really took the market away from Microsoft Excel and Access. The way I like to call our PowerTable is, it's a hybrid of Excel and Access with full scalability, governance, and audit and approval workflow. That's the simplistic definition of our product. And you can see, because of we sit on top of the data platform, we are using the push down SQL. So we are able to manage any volume of table and give the scalability that the businesses need. And you still retain the kind of the look of Excel.
Oh yeah, flat table design.
Exactly. So that's why this is good for table apps. How is it different from the market? So one of the vision I think I touched on is, there are three major categories in this market. There is table apps, which is basically like Excel, Access, tabular apps. You have Airtable, which is the most dominant one in this category. And then you have a work management or a task management where you create, project plans. You want to live edit it. I want to view it. I want to have a task assigned to you. Once you complete it, you will go and update it. I want to look at it in a Gantt chart or a Kanban view. This is another big market. it's a kind of a variation of the table apps where you try to give a kind of a hierarchical view, row hierarchical view, and like SmartSheets tend to dominate this market, but you have Monday, Asana, some of these other players, and we are working actively on getting into this space. And I will touch on some of the features that we are bringing in is going to get us into the work management category. Our goal is basically, you can already use it as some of the use cases that Power Apps does, you can already use it, but we hope that by the end of the year, we would be a kind of a union of these three categories. So we probably, customer doesn't have to buy three different category of apps. We will be one PowerTable. You can do wide range of, just like Excel, nobody, our Access, nobody imagined I could do that. That's our vision, a broad, very horizontal. You could do any of these three category apps, basically, is kind of our vision. Now, kind of wanted to take a little pause. Reed, you have any questions before I kind of switch to the demos?
Not yet. I did have a couple people or somebody in the chat mention it. They did fire this up and started poking around with it last week in the workspace apps already. So it looks like some people in the audience have already started to use it.
Got it. Okay. So let's go through a little bit of a live demo. Let's start with what are workloads. So if you see, this is the big difference is Fabric workloads are pure web-based browser-only solution. Okay, unlike like a Power BI desktop or this, you start on the Power BI service basically. Okay, the advantage of it is you can use it in Mac with full capability. So there is no concept of Windows or Macs. You can just take your Mac laptop. No need about worry about desktop. You just go and hit workloads basically. So this is the Power BI workloads screen, and these are some of the partner workloads, but these are kind of Microsoft's workloads. You can see I talked about all these things. Again, since I'm on a thing, you will see a lot of our workloads. Now, obviously, the workloads, if when you click on it, it will talk about the two items we have. Now, PowerTable is kind of officially GA. Now, EPM is actually, we are moving into the preview phase of enterprise performance management. That's why you see, but we can have multiple items. So just wanted to give you an idea of how you can actually add a workload and you will do all of that. So what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to come back to my home. I'm going to go to a Fabric workspace. That's the very important thing. You will have to come to a Fabric workspace to be able to try these workloads. We have had a lot of customers ask this question, so I'm going to tell you. You don't need to be a Fabric customer. As long as you are a Power BI premium customer, you have a premium capacity, you could actually install a Fabric workload and try. So
okay, that's good to know.
Stop trying. Don't hesitate to try. If you are a Power BI premium customer, you could do. The other thing that a lot of customers don't realize is you don't need a very large Fabric capacity. Power BI to Fabric, there is a huge difference. Fabric is more of a serverless concept. So you can buy an F2 capacity. I think it's less than $300 a month. And you can get started. And you can use what you want to use. You don't have to even use Power BI. You could just get started, get a F2 capacity, and install this PowerTable. And I'm going to create a PowerTable work item. And you can see I'm going to do the PowerTable work item. And so it's like creating a Power BI report. I'm creating a PowerTable work item. And I'm going to basically PowerTable demo, or I would say, live demo 1. I'm creating a kind of a think about a first PowerTable item. Okay, I just wanted to go a little bit slower and show you the experience. Okay,
please.
Now, one of the things I wanted to tell you is we have included a couple of templates for you to play with. You can do an explore PowerTable, install these, so it will install a bunch of tables for you to actually play with it without having to, hey, I don't have access to my Snowflake instance or I'm not able to connect to a database. Okay, so you could actually also play with it because we have given you a managed DB, so you can play with all of the capabilities of PowerTable. Okay, while you are waiting for your Fabric admin or your database admin to give you necessary permission. So let's come back here, and I want you to, people have seen me do my planning demo. I said, you know what, I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm going to do this whole demo in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create a brand new app, and you're going to get an option for connecting a connection. Okay. And since we are a Microsoft partner, a Fabric partner, now obviously you can see whatever I said, we support all of them. And I'm going to show you the experience of creating a Fabric SQL experience. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a database, and I'm going to create a brand new connection. And you can use my credentials. I'm creating a brand new connection. So I want you to see the experience of, now obviously you need access to a database. That is the only limitation. A lot of times in a small business, you have access, you are able to create a connection. And you do this only once. Okay, you do this only once. Now, okay, I had to have this issue. So I'm going to, basically what I will do is I will use an existing connection. Obviously, I probably had a challenge. So one of the things is I can use an existing connection somebody had created for me, and I can create a brand new table and take a demo data set and land it right inside the Fabric SQL connection. We have three options. You can manage an existing table, but which I will also show. But what I wanted to tell you is, one of the common use cases, I have a lot of Excel and Access and a lot of manual stuff. I'm going to have it imported, and I want to manage it inside Fabric SQL. So one of the things we will do is I'm going to create a kind of my products table. I'm going to create live A, live 1. So I'm creating a products table, and my data is sitting in my Excel spreadsheet. Okay. So you can see it reads the Excel file, the file header, and automatically creates it. And it heuristically determines that we need the product key you have to establish. So the most important part is you establish what is the primary keys for that particular table. And you can obviously add additional columns. We will come to that. We won't do this here, but you can obviously add additional columns. Now, when I hit finish, this has landed into the Fabric SQL connection or the database. Now the table is created. Okay. Now, the big difference to managing in a SharePoint list, or let's say in a Excel, is that this is not easily accessible for joining in a semantic model or doing your reporting on other use cases. And one of the things that I wanted to tell you, I want you to see the beauty of this is you could actually insert rows, multiple rows. You could actually add a product master. You can do that. You can actually do insert columns as well. You can, when I say columns here, you could actually add insert columns as well. Okay, so let's do an inserting a column. But I wanted to show you some of the cool features. Are you can establish governance. So one good example is I want people to enter only the list of values. So basically, you can see the options. These are, think of these as column types. I can say options. I want only distinct values. I don't want you to enter a brand new brand. So you can actually establish it. There are only set of colors we manufacture. So you could actually do the same thing for this, right? So these are things that we can do. One of the other things that I wanted to do is I want to add a database column now, a brand new column that didn't exist in Excel, because you can actually completely disassociate yourself with the Excel. Now start managing it live on the database table. Okay, that's a huge differentiator. I'm going to create something called a budget quantity because quantity is not being tracked. If you see this price is tracked, this is kind of a product master. Kind of, I'm going to try to do my 2025 budget quantity. I'm just, again, please, these are kind of what I call like an abstract, just giving you the concept, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I've created a kind of a column. Now I could also create a formula that multiplies the unit price by the budget column. So one of the things is that we could say, and then you can see we can do formulas, quantity times unit price.
Okay, that's
and
basically the same
we can add it to the database.
This is the same formula engine that you have in InfoRiver, yeah?
It's similar, I would say, but that is much more robust because that can do hierarchical formulas and
Oh,
things.
yeah.
It's much more planning related,
yep.
but this is more like more related to kind of a. I've created that, right?
Okay, nice.
So I've created the kind of this. Now there are a lot more capability which I will be demonstrating, but I wanted to just give you a basic overview. Oh, guess what? Look at the beautiful list of values. Okay, so I'm gonna say, let's say change the color of this one. Let's change it to Azure. Let's change the text here to Azure. Think about a master data maintenance use case. Let's change the unit price to say $15. And for the purposes, I'm just going to say 100. You can see it auto calculates. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to do a simple save. I want you to watch what happens. So now it did a live write back. Did you notice the performance?
I mean, it seemed to be instantaneous.
Yeah. Now the beauty is some of them ask me the question, hey, can I copy and paste like Excel? I'm doing a bulk change. I'm going to put the budget quantity of 15. I'm going to copy and paste here. You see the formula column work, right? Now, this time, I'm not going to hit save. I'm actually going to do a preview. It tells you exactly what you changed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hit save. So one of the beauty is bulk updates. These are very, very hard in an app builder, like a Power Apps. These are very hard. One record at a time, you go and update here. You are able to do en masse. Now, another user has another Excel file, but same structure. You can actually import it once again. Now, we are working on probably bringing in SharePoint here as part of our roadmap. You can actually add more users can come and add their spreadsheet. And then now you start managing it on top of your database. Now, I want to quickly show some of the other capabilities. But before that, I want to know it also has a filtering capability. So you could actually say, you know what, I want to filter only some, you can actually do that.
Already built it similar to the filter pane, so to try to have a similar experience to Power BI.
Correct. One of the things that I will like to show you is you can do a search and replace. Right? I want to change the contours are limited. I want to spell it out. You can actually replace it all. So the beauty is, and I can hit save. It will go and update all of them. So again, I needed to have a little bit of errors, but that's okay. But you get an idea of the concept of all of this. The same concept that we had on the audit, we have it. So it tells you exactly who changed what and when, everything. Okay.
Very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, the auto log I think
Now,
is very important with a lot of this stuff too, because that's, I mean, like I have lost track of the amount of times where clients have come to me and like a report disappears or something changes, then like, and they have no idea who actually made the changes to it because they're not monitoring any of that. So having lineage on any kind of changes like this is, I think, is key, especially when it comes to actually changes to your data.
and one of the things is we also came about is the same thing. Can you verify this unit price? You can actually do, you know what, I can tag Eric. I think Olivier is in the, so we can tag your coworkers, right? I'm just trying to see, yeah, Olivier is here. We can actually do, so they get notified. Same commenting collaboration features that we have. You can actually do the cell level commenting collaboration as well. You can also add a text column and you can actually do that as well. Now,
Nice. Okay.
one of the big feature is approvals. So I'm trying to explain as much as with a simple data set, and I will try to go to more complex workflows. The approval itself, again, you don't write script, you don't write functions, you don't do everything. You just see this requires approval. With our approval process, specific users have to approve rule-based approval. This cost center, this person has to approve. So you can configure basically, or a condition-based lookup, which I will also try to demo. Multi-level approval. You can say my manager has to approve, and then my VP has to approve on an exception. So this capability also, and then it has an AD integration, which you are going to see right now. Now, I'm going to just give you a quick demonstration of the approval. I'm going to put myself as an approver right now. By the way, we have a Teams integration also, Teams notification. I don't want to get emails. I want to just do that. I will set up an approval. Now, what happens is, let's say I go here and then I go for an approval. I think, so I think I have to basically, it kind of gotten into a kind of an error state. So what I will do is I will have to, yeah, it was basically sitting on the comment. So basically, when I change this to 20, you see, this now has to go for a submit review.
Okay.
Now, it is waiting on my approval. You can see, and then I can see. So I think it kind of got into a kind of an error state. So what I will do is I will demonstrate these capabilities with, so you see this one here. The previous one, the bulk update got into an error state. So it tells you the change, and only after you approve, it will do the write back, basically.
Okay. I mean, the gatekeeping is good, but especially with a multi-tiered approval process, as you said, if it actually requires eyes at different levels, is good to be able to have that tiered status.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I wanted to show you some more advanced capabilities. Okay. So let me try to quickly show you. This is one of very key feature for a lot of customers, basically, is that a lot of times what happens is people like to look at it kind of in a hierarchical manner. Okay. So I have employees and then I have their managers, basically. So they want to be able to kind of create a hierarchical view of it. So we recently brought up the capability basically to say called a relation column, which I will be touching on. But we also brought a capability called hierarchy. So in the hierarchy manage layout, you define the relationship, the employer ID, manager ID, and the full name. So what it did is it took this one, and then it kind of creates everything in a hierarchical view. Now, the beauty of this is you can insert a child row inside that, basically. So let's say I have a large table, but I wanted to group by managers and then kind of operate. It can allow you to do that. So we did not have this feature. This is one of the newly added feature of bringing the row hierarchy. So it's it's not just a table. Now we are bringing row hierarchy capability for you. The next one I wanted to quickly touch on is, this is something very big, is I have a products table, but the products table is kind of quite big by itself. But I come to the categories table. What I did is I came to the setup, and then within that, I have what is called as a relation column. I kind of established related products. Think about it. Electronics, device, and gadgets. When you do this related products column, it will drill down to that context, basically.
Oh, okay.
Master detail view, or you have an order header and order detail. So you see this, you can now search and filter. Now we are going to bring the ability to do the edits and save as well. But today you could actually view the child table, basically. I can now come here and
so you can just go to, okay. So it has links between each of the levels.
Link to tables, link to tables, correct.
Yep. Okay, so almost like a Snowflake schema a little bit.
Yeah, you could call it, some people like to call it parent-child view. Some people like to call it master detail view. But the idea is that to make it easy to consume. So these are some of the couple of big features we actually recently brought into the product. Now, just for the purposes, I'm just trying to close in, and I want to show you a few more stuff, but I will close this one also. Now, what I wanted to tell you is, so if you look at this one, so we have customer table. I have my product table. You can actually see I have my orders table, right? So one of the things is that if I come to setups, things that we didn't actually show you is we have forms, right? We can actually have forms. We can place an order. We have automations. We can create. So when you create an order, it can actually trigger an order status and an inventory log. So there are things that you could actually do. You have the list of customers. You can have the list of products. You have the list of orders. Again, I'm going to try to go here. I could actually create insert row, and I could do, or I can come here to the thing. I'm going to select a product. 1 second. Okay, so just bear with me.
No worries.
No, I think I think I'm a little bit not sure how this works, but you can actually create an order, and the automation would really land it in here, basically the order ID,
as
and
a
then
new
the
row,
inventory
right?
log. But I'm just, at least everybody gets the concept that what we could actually do. But what I can actually do is I will actually try to show you here. I will basically start. I will try to show you full AdventureWorks apps and try to give you an idea of what really happens. But one of the things is I will just come here, create a new item. So I will do. Maybe I'll create a demo app, and then I also want to show you how we can edit large tables and things like that. But one of the things is you could actually take kind of create a full-blown apps, basically. So this is, I showed you editing a single table, but I wanted to show you. Okay, so if you really think about it, I have my transactions here, sales transactions. I have my returns transactions. I have my category master. So this is one of the things where you can actually say, when you do the list of values, when you enter something, it has to be within these categories and subcategories. And you are able to do the connections and the products and the customers and the territories. Okay. So you can see, you can't enter a territory that doesn't exist, or when you enter a brand new territory, it will have to go for an approval and things like that. A good example would be, let's say, for example, I can come here. I'm going to show you what an automation would do. Create an automation. You can see it can add when a record is created, you can add a trigger when a record is created, when a record is updated. So when I say when a record is created, you can tell what it should do, basically, right? You can add an action, basically. You can send an email, you can send a notification, you can trigger a webhook, go and do something like this. So our customers are starting to really figure out the possibility to add link tables and things like that. Okay. So one of the main request I wanted to tell the audience is the PowerTable is very powerful, that you should actually, so one good example would be, I'll try to create a brand new app. Now, this time I'm going to try to use, just to show everybody that we could actually do, I'm going to actually take a large table, because this really is very powerful. Okay. So one of the things is how you can manage an existing table at scale. Okay. So this is really a billion row table, right? And let's say we update this. Yeah, 100. I'm going to update the price to 5,000. I'm going to basically copy and paste few records just so that people get an idea. And you will notice, okay, this is a very good example. Forget about the size of the table. Snowflake is read optimized, basically. It's an OLAP database. So you will see the performance of this Writeback is slightly inferior to Fabric SQL or a write optimized database, but it will still finish. And obviously, this is a very large table, but you are able to make updates in a reasonable amount of time. It's the user experience is pretty slick. You see this?
Yeah. I mean, it only took about 10 seconds or so.
Yeah. I will show you some of the other cool features. I didn't show you the group by, right? I want to show you. Let's say I want to group this by region. This is the power of pushdown SQL. 1 billion rows.
That's nice.
Right?
Yeah, so it just creates a hierarchy for you. Okay.
Yeah, it just creates a hierarchy. Now, obviously, it is trying to do the pushdown, but you can actually get an idea of the things that it can actually do for you, right? It can actually also create another group if it really has to do it, but it's actually region. It's not expand, but because it just has too much rows, but it will do that. But what I wanted to show you is, maybe it's easier to explain on a product table, but you can actually create multiple groups, right? So this is only 293. I can create a group on product color. I can create another one on, let's say, product size. So you can actually see. Okay. So you are able to create this on the fly. Okay. So the group by is another thing that, again, we are not writing any code in our product. Export to Excel is one of the features we actually recently added. Also, this is one of the popular asks from customer. I will tell you something even nice. You see the product price, insights. Now, let's say, obviously, if I had a quantity, it would have made sense, but you could actually say, let's say we want an average price. You get insights on the columns as well.
Oh, if you were if you were to group this up, you would get the average. I think it's one product.
Correct. So we have been working with a lot of customers, and we have been listening to them, and we have been kind of trying to perfect it. Obviously, when you try it, you will see the power of the scale, the power of the productivity that it can do with approvals, the governance, and workflows. The other thing is the similar conditional formatting you could also apply. So these are your conditional formatting rules that we could do. So in essence, if you really think about it, since we are kind of almost I wanted to kind of pause a little bit, and I wanted to show the vision, basically. To me, I don't know if there was any more questions about PowerTable, but my primary goal was to educate them about this. And one of the things is you can create an app, manage an existing table, like I mentioned. You can actually also, when you create a new table, you can actually connect to a semantic model as well, or you can enter the data manually. Okay. So the possibility of using this for wide range of use cases is just phenomenal. Okay. So I kind of strongly encourage everybody to really try this out. One of the other possibility that I wanted to really touch and tease everybody on before I, see if there are more questions is, so if you see this here, I have our planning sheet here at the bottom. Here I have the PowerTable. Okay, so this is the PowerTable visual here. This is here. Maybe in the edit view, everybody will get an idea of where we are headed. So this is a full ETM experience where all our visuals, everything is integrated. Okay. So let's say hypothetically for Emma, I'm going to, let's say I'm going to drop her salary just to give you an idea and save it. So now what happens is you're going to see what I call as the live integration. So again, obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time because it's writing to the Fabric warehouse, not to the Fabric SQL. Okay, so you'll always notice a little bit because one is read optimized versus write optimized, right? So one of the things is you will notice is that while it is going and saving, and then it will kind of do it, you will notice in about 10 seconds, if you do a kind of a refresh, basically. So what it will go and update the salary here to 250. So your sheets are integrated. That's the main benefit. You go and change a master data, your reports, your planning application, a lot of that will actually instantly kind of reflect it. So this is one of the things we are working on, an automatic refresh, triggering the semantic model refresh. And so this is one of the things, but I kind of wanted to show you the vision. I updated here. Instantly, you are able to see it. The same concept I'm going to show you here. This is, I talked on about, I have used our charts here, right? And this is our planning sheet, the EPM sheet. Look, everything is integrated. So when you get our Lumel EPM, our table, the modern BI planning sheet are integrated. The primary benefit of that is our components or the visuals or this one, they talk to each other. What does it mean? Let's say the executive here, if you see, the plan was only $500 million. So we are exceeding by the actuals and everything is green. But let's say my boss comes and says, you know what, you are not pushing hard. You should do $2 billion. The moment the whole plan was updated, now what happens is the plan is updated. So then what happens is it triggers all the visuals to immediately reflect that we are no longer meeting. So imagine your executives. They are just like no ETL, no complex, wait for the updates to run, the tables to be joined, the things that we had, the challenges. In Fabric, we are able to provide an integrated experience. Just to finish up, Reed, were there any other questions?
Quite a lot of comments from Donald on some of the similarities of how this is kind of somewhat like the access table experience and a lot of the auditing, which he calls it like auditing is a Git for data people, essentially, which I really liked. But I think there's been some strong likes on the commenting and some of the other stuff in here. But again, like it's the low code to no code simplicity of it that seems really cool. But the fact that you integrated also like Analytics Plus, I'm a big fan of and the charting and design. So you've had like a its own like reporting platform essentially kind of built into it, which is really cool.
Yeah. So since Donald touched on security and governance, something that I kind of didn't do is managing the access. You can really set up who can add a row, who can update an existing row, who can delete a row. And then every column can have its own security. Who is responsible for price? Who is responsible for kind of a budget quantity column? So you could completely have a column level security and a row level security. So it has pretty comprehensive security framework also associated with it. Now, I was basically wanting to touch on things that we are working on right now. Hopefully, we will be delivering it by this month. Is we are trying to bring more column types. Basically, we are trying to bring some of the customers said, I want a phone number, I want kind of a little ratings. So we are trying to listen to the customers like checkboxes. So trying to get parity with other table app solutions. The big one that I'm really looking forward to is bringing our Gantt capability and then make that Gantt editable for your work management, project management. Some of you may ask, what about Kanban view? Yes, we will be bringing timeline view, Kanban view, all of that. And then as soon as it comes in, because we use push down SQL, running it directly on top of data platform, someone like SmartSheet, they have serious performance issues. Basically, if you have more than 1 million rows. Here, we don't have such limitation. We are able to help you use the filters, select by projects, able to do it, and save it back to the data platform. Whereas in a Smartsheet, it creates its own data silo. So that is something that I'm really looking forward, where we are broadening the number of use cases that we can support for an organization. Last but not the least, one of the common requests from customers is that our write-back matrix was really good for like a pivot table style editing. We are going to try to give you an ability to take the data into a cross-tab view or a kind of a pivot edit mode, and then kind of maybe enter your timesheet or something like that and hit save. So it's easy on the eyes, because rather than kind of a tabular long table, you can actually try to do it and then support it. Basically, is one of the idea. Obviously, then you may think, why would I use the write-back matrix or the EPM, which is more a pivot table style edit? This is not going to have your allocation formulas or your planning related function. This is more kind of an I would almost say, think of these as your input table experience. Basically, improve the input table experience for the customers.
I got one comment really plus one for the crosstab view that they're a big fan of. To pop that on the screen for a second. There you go.
Yes, hopefully that. So the idea is we are constantly working with the large enterprise customers. It's officially GA. I really think it will transform. I know not just the Fabric, the way you deliver apps. What used to be months, we are bringing into less than hours, basically. Sometimes you can actually say, you know what, completely no code, built for business. They are able to build apps. And I think our team, we are trying to build a lot of use case based demos. Basically, I think there was one webinar, you can watch a recording, for asset management. We are trying to bring marketing, CRM, lot of those apps. How can you build it and then land the data in your data platform? That's the most important part. Is whatever we are doing, this data is not in somebody's computer. It's not in some OneDrive or some place. It lands back into your data platform, so it is available for reuse with your semantic model or for your other reporting instantly. That's the word, instantly. It is available. Like you saw, you can change somebody's department or salary, it will immediately. So we are really truly transforming how apps are being built with PowerTable. And in my opinion, PowerTable is something that, let's say you get started, you will fall in love with it. In my opinion, this is one of the from an ease of use and getting started, one of the best products we have actually built. Even though we are known for planning and EPM, PowerTable is something, the getting started experience, seeing the instant value, it is the best product we have actually built for the Microsoft customer base ecosystem.
It's for sure the most robust one that I've seen that you guys have built so far from a platform perspective, and it is nice again to see the decoupling of this, because you're the best way I described like Introver previously is it's like a platform within a platform, but this one is its own self-standing one now that you have the ability to put it in the Fabric. Because I know you've been wanting to do this since Fabric came out, but they didn't have the workload apps yet. So I'm sure you're eagerly waiting for them to launch this publicly, so you could, as I said, like decouple from the Power BI experience and just have something plugged straight into the semantic model environment and the One Lake environment.
Exactly. So we were almost like a very patient wait, and that's one of the reason. Even the Info where everything was built as a full page application. We knew this day would come eventually. It has been a long wait. So that's one of the reason even our Power BI visuals were all like full page visuals, because we knew we will get this whole full page experience, a full app ecosystem.
Exactly. Yep. Big fan. So I think, what are some key takeaways for people who want to poke around on? I know somebody already mentioned in the chat that they have had a chance to kind of get started with it, but like, what's the easiest way for someone who wants to like explore this a little bit? Reminding people again that this is not, you don't need Fabric to use these workspace items. You just need some type of will it work with premium per user, or do you have to have a capacity?
I think you just do the easiest way I say is start a Fabric trial. Fabric is being very generous with Fabric trials, and that's one easiest way. And go to the workloads and turn the workload on, basically, right? You just turn the workload on, the Lumel EPM workload, because PowerTable is actually the way workload. We have one workload, but we have 3 items, basically. So PowerTable, now you can buy PowerTable by itself, basically. So you don't have to buy the whole EPM. So that's one of the big benefit. And you can actually get PowerTable by itself. But if you buy the EPM, you get PowerTable as included as part of the licensing. So you get started and, take a if you have a Power BI Premium, pretty easy, turn the Fabric workspace on and you can actually try it. And most customers, they just need it already has the single sign-on enabled. So you just need to figure out what workspace, and then what if that workspace has the Fabric capacity. And then you probably need to decide on the data platform, the connection. When you try to connect the connection, you probably need a kind of a database and the schema. That's the only getting started hurdle you are going to see. Once you have it, this is the place I'm going to save, and I'm going to manage my table, keep my thing. That's it. You're up and running.
Excellent. And then let me prop back to this just to show over here. There we go. Where they can go check it in. And the when will the preview label come off, out of curiosity?
Again, we technically take it out because PowerTable itself is GA. The issue is we made a conscious decision to do one workload so that the customer doesn't have to have 3 separate workloads, because the backend is same for all our workload. Our backend, the container, the middleware service that I just talked about, it is common, basically. It's basically the same. So whether you use EPM, whether you use PowerTable, but a lot of time what happens is people may get started with PowerTable and then they want to upgrade to the EPM. So that's one of the reasons we made a conscious decision. The EPM by itself, which hopefully I will come again and do a live stream, is our writeback matrix, basically. So one of the things that I will tell you, the enterprise planning, the EPM workload, has a lot more capability than writeback matrix, because it is bringing in, we had another product called Valq. So Valq is also integrated. And it has a lot more capability that we did not have in Power BI, which we are able to do as a Fabric workload. So our EPM, the planning workload is much more comprehensive. I like to say it's almost 3 times the product of what the Writeback matrix ever was, and it has what do you call a significantly superior user experience because of the full scale. So that's why we are trying to keep the EPM in a preview mode, so more customers can give us feedback, and we try to do. But PowerTable has been in preview for over 2-3 months or whatever time frame that we feel it is. We have a few customers actively using it in production, and very, very happy customer references. We feel that if PowerTable is, you can almost assume for that workload, you can just buy PowerTable and go to production.
Excellent.
We have few customers in production for PowerTable already, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like the adoption's starting to take off with that, so that's good to hear. Oh, I realized I forgot to update your name, but otherwise, no, I think this has been absolutely fantastic. I'm loving to see the evolution of this stuff come through, so I'm excited to continue to see. Let me put this in there. There we go. I'm excited to see how this will continue to evolve as the Fabric platform continues to mature as well. So I think this is going to be even more robust, I'm sure, in the next 6 to 12 months as you guys continue to evolve the product. But all for people tuning into the chat, down in the description are the links to check out the Lumel website, and links as well to the Workloads app to be able to go check it out. But as he said, the easy way to do it is just if you have a dedicated capacity already with Premium, you can use it. Otherwise, start a Fabric trial and be able to check it out from there. But I'm a big fan of low to no code. I know you've been on the bandwagon of that for a while, and I think the ability to go in and actually make changes to the data within multi-tiered approval processes and all this stuff is going to go a long way to having that built into a single portal where you can use Mac, Windows, whatever platform you have. As long as you have a web browser, you can basically do the modifications to this or adjustments. So I think the experience is fairly streamlined, which is really cool. And some thanks from the chat as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, if there are any Power BI MVPs, we will give them free access, so they don't need to buy a license. We will, if they are, because one of the things I wanted to also announce is that I know I got connected to you as a Power BI MVP, and if there is any Power BI Fabric MVP, right, if they are an active MVP, we don't mind giving them a free license of PowerTable so they can actually educate the market about what not just PowerTable can do, but more importantly, about the Fabric workloads, because it's just, we need the awareness that a new framework, much more modern way to deliver use cases for the Fabric data platform or the Microsoft ecosystem exists now. So that's something that kind of I wanted to share with everybody is, reach out to us. And Lumel, obviously has the vision to provide a completely and integrated stuff, but one of the things is we want to bring use cases that doesn't exist or it's very inadequate. And when you try it, you will see the time to market, the velocity. So please try it and give us feedback. And I'm pretty positive that you will have a significantly positive experience compared to your Power BI custom visual experience.
Exactly. And to your point, I think just make sure to, I'll make sure to update that in the description as well for the MVPs if anybody else wants to try those. But a large part of it is use it as just market exposure with that, and letting people don't know enough about the workloads that are available in Fabric. You're now only the second person I've had on my stream who's talked about those. The other being Mike Carlo, who has the theme generator and that, but it's it is an untapped resource, I think, where we're definitely headed towards a lot more of an app-rich environment for that stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do, but also just hopefully more exposure from Microsoft means that it will get adopted more and more use cases we'll have, because there's so many options, and I think the viability for it's very high. So hopefully it'll help to continue to push, I think, people to get familiar with it, and hopefully that experience will just continue to grow.
No, yeah, thanks, Reed. So nobody should think, oh, PowerTable is okay, another thing we have to license. That's not the way to think about it. think about how much legacy process you can retire. Think about all the third-party tools that you own. Bringing it to the same platform gives you so much cost savings. So
Yep.
that's something that I wanted to add on, is what the ecosystem benefit, the data platform benefit. It's tremendous business value.
Exactly. Like at the end of the day, what's the ROI, right? What's the time savings with some of these things?
Okay.
Excellent. Well, then, I think this is a perfect time then to wrap up. I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing this. And then, like always, I'll have you back on some point in the future, and look forward to whatever the your company continues to kind of evolve with some of this stuff. Yeah, always exciting new features each time you come on. So thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then everyone else as well, until next time, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you want to help support this channel, take a look at our channel memberships or our merchandise store for cool swag. And last but not least, please consider sharing this video on your social media platform of choice to help our channel grow. So, until next time.